Hello crafty friends, this is the Papered Chef here. In today's Brother ScanNCut tips and tricks tutorial, you are going to learn how to cut out, color, and layer stamped images using your Brother ScanNCut SDX 125. You can also follow along with whichever model you have. The stamps I'm using are from this month's Paper Pumpkin Kit, no matter the weather. The project I'm going to walk you through, the first project, is this project. We're going to create this card using the Paper Pumpkin Kit and our ScanNCut. And then I'm going to show you another project I did with the layering technique. Alright, so let's get started. Here's what we need. Here's the kit itself. Now I'm not going to do the whole unboxing because I will have another video where I show you many alternative projects you can create with this kit. But I just want to show you that here's the kit and the beautiful spring cards related to sort of the rain and the weather and spring blossoms. And so here's the beautiful kit and the cards, and we're going to take one of the card bases. So the card bases, I would call them, they're not really photorealistic, but there's beautiful drawings on them. So we could do so much with them. We're going to take this card base, see? So we don't have to do all this watercoloring and everything. It's already been done, the background. So we're going to take that and transform it with our ScanNCut. This card base would also work for our project as well. We're going to take one of the envelopes, the matching envelopes. This is Petal Pink. That's what I thought coordinated with that. Okay, some other materials you'll need just to do this project. And you don't have to have my exact materials. I mean, you're going to need something to color with. I looked at the coordinating colors of the kit and I decided to use, for this project, these colors. I'm using Balmy Blue for the ink that I'm using, and that's for the cloud and the rain. I'm going to show you how to do the cloud and the rain. And then I'm using a Balmy Blue Stampin Blends. Stampin Blends come in light and dark pairs. So we have light and dark Balmy Blue. And then we have a light and dark Calypso Coral. That's going to be what we're coloring the boots with. And then finally, just a little bit of So Saffron. You can use light or dark So Saffron. And that's just another one of the coordinating colors. We'll put that in there. Okay, and then I have another project where you actually go one step further and layer those images. So, haven't used our SDX in a while because it went on strike on me. My SDX stopped cutting for a while, right in the middle of when I was finishing up my course. And so anyway, it's working great now. I'm like, what happened? This is awesome. So I'm happy that it's back in full action. So I'm taking a piece of Whisper White cardstock. When you color stamped images, and by the way, I'm leaving my website up there so you can see where to get any of these items I'm showing you. All right, so when you're going to be coloring stamped images with the blends, you want to use Memento Black ink, because then, and I'll just kind of leave this here, something to look at. Then you have the alcohol markers are not going to run, the colors will not run. This month's Paper Pumpkin Kit. And I'm dedicating this video to all my people who took the chance and listened and got this Paper Pumpkin Kit, because I said it's going to be good. There's a free stamp set, and you took a chance and you scored. Okay, this month's Paper Pumpkin Kit is a Brother ScanNCut user's dream. Look at these. This is the extra stamp set that came. So I'm taking the boots off the free stamp set. So it's our 7th anniversary of celebrating Paper Pumpkin at Stampin Up at our company. I'm going to mount this onto a stamping block. Those of you that first subscribed, when you first subscribe, you get a free stamping block. I just happen to be using the bigger Stampin Up stamping blocks. Anyway, this month's kit is just awesome. I've already cut out all kinds of stuff besides this. I've cut out these layered clouds. I've cut out the flower pot. I'm just doing this one project because, I mean, there's just so many ideas swirling around in my head that I have so many projects to do. So I figured let's just get started on this one project. All right, these boots are so easy to color. So what I'm doing is, whenever you have a stamped image that's kind of bigger, maybe it's not bigger, but it's almost going to take up the whole stamping pad and you can't really see it, I just find it easier to ink up my stamping pad by doing this. By turning the block upside down and tapping the ink onto it, then I know I have full coverage. Notice I'm not keeping the boots too close to each other because I'm going to be doing a layering technique in a little while. Okay, so I'm just going to do 3 sets of boots because I'm teaching you a concept, and in order to teach the concept, I need to cut out a couple and not use my trick on one of them. You'll see what I mean. So, okay, I'm stamping it a few times. So there are our rain boots, okay? And then you just clean your, you clean your stamping block. All right, so now I need the bunny. And the bunny and the boots would fit on the block that came in your, with your kit the first time. You got that free gift from Stampin' Up. If not, just use one of your acrylic stamping blocks. Now I'm taking the bunny, I'm putting him on just a smaller block I have. And we're gonna do a bunny a few times. So we'll just do a couple bunnies. I always like to do a couple extras anyway because, then you have them. Oops, that one's not gonna come out because his mouth's not complete unless I do my trick on him. All right, so we have a couple bunnies. So that's all we need for this particular project. So we're going to find the lid for the ink. So that's first and foremost. And the sentiment's going to come from the stamp set that came. So these both came in the Paper Pumpkin kit. We're going to be using a Stampin' Sentiment from there. All right, so now this is what I need to show you. And you can all learn from my mistakes. And because I did this earlier, and I thought, oh, sure. I thought, when I was watching my ScanNCut, that my boots were cutting out together. I thought they were cutting out as one. But no, they cut out as separate boots. Let's see if I still have my mistakes. I probably do because I save everything because I'm sort of like a hoarder like that. Anyway, I even saved my little scraps. But this is what we want to accomplish. We want to cut out the boots together. That's what we want to accomplish. Here's what actually happens. Let's find my separate boots. So if, just like I'm saying, so if you want to, that's what actually happens. The poor boots, if you don't do my little trick, you end up with separate boots. Now that's not a total problem. I mean, we probably could still do something with these, but I wanted them to be together and see how the little edges got cut off. So they cut out separately because there's a gap. And I kind of just didn't realize that the first time I tried it. I thought the gap would be enclosed when I put the outline distance around it, but no. So what you need to do is my pencil trick. So here's the pencil trick. We're going to leave one without the trick. We're going to leave this one. We're not doing anything to the first one. And I'm going to use my pencil trick for the second and third one. So you need to, the ScanNCut works by having good contrast between the foreground and the background. So I've used Memento Black ink onto Whisper White cardstock. Good contrast, good well-defined lines. However, these are going to cut out as separate objects because of that little gap between them. So go in there and take your pencil and just sort of fill in that gap down the bottom. So now that this is one object, and I also filled in the gap just a little bit right here. So I just made two lines because I want to kind of go in and cut all around the boots. So I want to go down and around the boots, but I don't want these to be separate boots because then I have a problem. See, there's a problem when you have separate boots because the outlines aren't even around them and sort of that's a problem. And the stamp is one stamp. I want it to come out like this, okay, together. So now, again, so that's the pencil trick. And everybody asks me all the time, what kind of pencil are you using? It's a number 2 pencil. Any pencil will do. Okay, we're going to not do that one, and we're going to just do this one. And this bunny, I think we need to fix. This bunny's good. This bunny, I didn't stamp him all the way, so we fixed his little face here. And then you have your eraser handy, and I'll show you my eraser. I don't use the end of the pencil. I don't use this red eraser because it'll rub all over the page. I use this kind of eraser, like a white eraser. This is a Pentel eraser from any office supply store, or I'll link to it. All right, so here we go. Now we're going to take so now we have our ScanNCut mat, and it's actually kind of sticky. I'm kind of using a fairly new mat, so let's get some of those little fibers off there. I'm going to put this on the mat, the stamped images, and then I might have to adjust my camera. So you can use a brayer. This is a brayer. If your stamp images are dry, which they should be, this helps stick your paper to the mat. Even though the mat's kind of sticky, there's a lot of extra fibers and papers. When you first get a mat, you should sort of condition it by using some designer series paper. Don't just start cutting Whisper White. Whisper White has a lot of fibers in it. And if you just start cutting with Whisper White from the get-go, you end up having a lot of stuff sticking to your mat. So I'm going to load my mat while I'm at this angle with the camera, and then I have to just change the angle. Okay, so what we have is I'm putting one hand on the mat like this, And I'm going to load the mat. So you can't see that button, but I'll show you in a second. So is my machine even on? Huh, that would be the first thing to do. I had to turn on my machine, guys. Even though I was just using it a little while ago. All right, so there we go. So that's what I do when I don't touch this. I don't put my hand on this roller. I don't want my fingers to get pulled under the roller, but I do put my hand like this sort of when I'm loading the mat. All right, we're good, we're good. Now I can move this a little bit. I'm gonna turn off my extra light as well, so there's not so much glare. So here we have the SDX 125, but you can do what I'm showing you with any model of ScanNCut that you have. Now don't mind my stuff on the screen. I was just cutting pizza boxes, and that's one of the projects I will show you later. Let me make sure I save that because I do not want to lose my pizza box template that I spent a lot of time working on. Not enough data. All right, here, let's delete my shamrock. St. Patrick's Day is over. Almost, but anyway, happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm just making some room for the thing that was on my screen. So my machine wasn't off after all. If it was off, it was retrieving something from memory. So here's where we are. Everybody is here. You're all here. You have whatever stamped image that you want to follow along with on your machine. Okay, so I'll even zoom that in. So you get a set of stamped images and follow along. You can cut out any stamped images with your ScanNCut. You're going to see pattern and scan. We're going to go to pattern. I mean, so even if you're not in the US, you have to be in the US or Canada to be a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, but obviously not a YouTube subscriber. You could be watching me from anywhere in the world. So if you're not in the US or Canada, or you're not a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, just follow along with whatever stamped images you have. All right, so here we are. We are at pattern and scan. I don't even know why. I was just doing my pizza boxes. I'm sorry, I hit pattern. Okay, we are going to scan. Okay, so you turn on your machine. We're going to scan these stamped images. So we're going to click scan. We're going to directly cut them out. So we're going to click direct cut. Okay, so directly cutting them out, meaning we're not saving them, we're just cutting them. Now it's asking, where do you want to store the stamped images? On your machine or on Canvas Workspace? Just on our machine for now. It's just a temporary storage area. So on our machine. It's asking, do you want to scan a 12 by 12? No. We can just scan a 12 by 6 for now because we only have a few images on the top of the mat. So we can use 12 by 6 scanning area. Of course, other models of ScanNCut don't let you choose that scanning area. Always choose black and white recognition mode, not color, because these are really well-defined lines, good contrast. When you're all done, you just hit start and it's going to scan in. And that's what so now it's going to recognize our stamped images. Let me find one of my bunnies. So when I'm cutting out, so now first thing you're going to do is say, you're going to click OK. Now it's asking you to select the area, so we can select just the area we want, which is just there. Now you can ignore if you have a lot of dust on your mat. If your mat's really dirty, maybe you didn't use a big giant piece of Whisper White like I did, then you can at this point ignore object size and get rid of small bits of things you don't want. But we don't have any small bits we don't want because I'm using a nice clean piece of Whisper White cardstock. Now let's say OK again. Now to me, when I first tried this, I said, oh, it looks like my boots are 1 when I put this little outline distance around it. What do I mean by outline distance? It's called an offset. So here are my boots and bunny. We're going to create an offset. We're creating a little white outline around the stamped images. I do it for almost all the time for all my stamped images. I like having an offset. It's kind of like what a metal die would do anyway, is give you a little offset. So I go here and I go into this little button here and I'm going to do an outline distance of 0.04. So when I was cutting these for the first time, I thought, oh, sure, this is when I put the outline distance, this is what I thought, that my boots sort of fused together. They cut together. But let me show you what happened. They didn't cut together. Let me say okay. I'm sorry, we should have gone back into edit. Here we go. I'm going to go to edit and zoom in. I want you to see that. See how they're separate? Let me zoom in some more. So I did not put the pencil on this on purpose to show you that they will cut out separately, but then you're going to get the overlap and they're going to cut off each other. And sure, you could say to yourself, well, why not cut the stamps apart? Well, I don't want to cut my stamps apart. The stamp is one stamp. I want to keep my stamp together. They're aligned perfectly. So I don't want to cut these out separate. I want to cut these out as one. Okay, so I hope you're following me. I'm trashing this. I don't want to cut these out. So I'm going to hit trash right now. I just needed to show you that if you don't use the pencil trick I'm showing you, your little boots are going to overlap and look funny like my boots did. And they're going to look funny, meaning you're going to end up with this kind of thing. See, so I hope I can save you all time by showing you some tricks. Okay, so here I'm getting rid of that boot too. So really, we only need to cut these two boots. We're cutting them as one, and we're cutting the bunnies. Okay, so that's step one. We're cutting the bunnies. Okay, and let's just say okay. And okay, it's asking please select. So we're going to select cut. Okay, so now we're going to cut, and we're going to start. Now I could have done my little sentiments at the same time. I probably should do my sentiments at the same time. So I'll just talk about the sentiment then while it's doing that. So what I need now, it's going to cut this, and then we'll just go ahead and before I unload the mat, I'm going to show you this. The paper pumpkin kits come with a lot of sentiments, a lot of what should we say, shapes already to make your sentiments. But this one, I created some extra rectangles using my ScanNCut, and I'm going to show you how I did that in just a minute as soon as this cuts. I'm letting it run because I'm in the middle of like a course launch right now, and thank you all for taking my newest course, Brother ScanNCut, working with fonts. I'm fielding a lot of questions. I'm very busy, so I'm just letting this run because I can't edit videos right now. I'm just making this all one big video. All right. So at that point, before I unload the mat, I wanted to tell you that I would go back here, and we can make our layers, and then we'll go back and we'll do something else. So we're going to make that shape for the sentiment. So even though the kit comes with, I'm just hitting back, the kit comes with all these things to make sentiments with. And what I mean by that, it comes with these little stitch shapes and stuff. I'm still going to make my own squares in here. But first, let's make the layer. So we'll make the layers that we're going to use on a different project later while I'm here. So do not unload your mat. Whatever you do not unload your mat. What you're going to do instead is just take off these cute little objects. Okay, so let me show you what we're doing. I'm going to do the layering now, only because I'm at this point in the machine, and then I'm going to do the coloring and other parts of the project. So I'm going to do this, this part first. So I'm going to unload the paper, but not the mat. I'm taking the paper off for a second, only for a second, because I need this Whisper White to stay there. And again, I just got this paper pumpkin kit, so I haven't really, this is just the only couple projects I've done with it so far. So yay, we have cute little bunnies. Yay, we have little boots. We'll erase them later. Okay, so what I want to do is I will use this again in a minute. I'm going to use this piece of Whisper White. But what I want to show you is this. I'm going to use, so I thought when I saw this kit, when I saw this paper pumpkin kit, that boy, oh boy, did this paper go well with it. This paper meaning this Please This Punch. It'll be linked in my description. Please This Punch Designer Series paper. Right? I mean, it just goes so well with it. So let's, while we're here, just do some layering, and then I can make my table. I can clear my table after I do all the ScanNCut work. We'll do the layering. I'll go back and make something for the sentiments. So I'm kind of working on the next project right now. I'm showing you the next project only because while your ScanNCut is on, while your mat is loaded, that's when you need to cut your layers. Okay, that's when you need to cut your layers. So I'm going to just go back and cut my layers. This is how I work. I went back to the screen, and instead of a 0.04 outline distance, I'm making layered boots. I'm going to do a 0.08 outline distance. Not for the little card, for the first card, but for my little pizza box project I'll show you later. And just for doing it. I mean, we're doing layers because it adds dimension to your project. That's why we're doing layers. And I hit cut again, same thing. So we're going to start that. And while it's doing that, I'm just going to show you. So like this is what I'm going for. And this here is what I'm going for. So I'm using Please This Punch Designer Series paper. Notice my orientation of my layers. So if you want to have cute little colors sticking out from behind your boots, right? Then look, you make the Please This Punch paper going, the stripes going in a horizontal direction, see? And that gives you lots of little colors behind your boots. The little pink and the, This is Please This Punch has the same like Balmy Blue that we're working with in the card. It's one of the coordinating colors. It also has Granny Apple Green. So I love that it has a lot of coordinating colors from this paper pumpkin kit as well. So that's what we just did. And now I'm going to show you how that came out. Okay, so now we could take this. We don't have to, we can now just take this out. So let's take that. We got our layers. Okay, so let's use our little spatula again. So that's how we got the layers for our boots. Okay, so to review, this is where we're at. We're using this for our little card project, these boots. Then we're going to use a layered version as well for later, for another project. And that's how you make your offsets. You could have done a 12.12 offset as well. That would have looked really good as well. I did that with the bunnies last week. Different kinds of bunnies. The bunnies from the Welcome Easter stamp set. I did a bigger offset and we made the bunnies wobble. These bunnies are a little too small to wobble. Well, they're not too small to wobble. They're too small to hide the wobble springs, I should say. All right, so I'm just going to stick this back in. I'm sticking a piece of Whisper White back in here because we need to make something for our sentiments. And again, I just got the kit in the mail. So I know you might go, oh, she's all over the place. You know what? I am all over the place because really, I just got my kit in the mail and this is just what I came up with really quickly. So this isn't one of those really long, drawn out plan tutorials. Okay, so let's go to home button and we're gonna click OK. So this is what I want to do. And this is what I came up with for this project. So I'm gonna go to pattern. I want to make little rectangles for our sentiments. So go to pattern. I'm just using a piece of Whisper White cardstock. Pattern. I'm going to get a square and turn it into a rectangle. The way you turn it into a rectangle, I could have just started with a rectangle, is always check off this button here. If I don't check off this button, if I don't select this button, it stays, the length and width stay in proportion to each other. If you select this button, I can change the width and height independently of each other. I want to make the height of this little rectangle 0.75. And I want to make the width 0.75. Oops, and the width is going to be 1.75. That's how big to fit the sentiment from the paper pumpkin kit. Again, just make it as big as you want your rectangles, or maybe you're using circles. Let's make 3 or 4. There, let's make 4. Only because when you make something, always make a few at once. And I'm just making 4 because if I mess up, you know, I'm going to cut these. If I mess up, then I have extras. And meaning mess up my stamping. If I mess up my stamping, like if I stamp the sentiment on crookedly, I know you can flip it over and use the back, but still, I'm making way extras in case I mess up. That way I can not clean my table, but my table's never clean. I can clear my table just to finish the project with y'all. Okay, so it's trying to do a double cut. So when it tries to do a double cut, what does that mean? You can, when you see it start to go back through and cut everything again, you can quit your cutting. That is if you think it got it the first time. I don't think it needs to do a double cut on Whisper White cardstock. That's why I paused it, and I'm going to go ahead and quit the cutting. Otherwise, it takes you double the amount of time. So I'm hoping I'm right. I mean, it doesn't always do a double cut, but I'm hoping I'm right that I stopped it in time. Yeah, see, you don't need to do a double cut. If you ever see your ScanNCut start to do a double cut, then just don't, go ahead and stop it. So these are our little rectangles. Okay, and this is what we did. Just so you know where we're at. We made the little rectangles for this. That's what we made, the rectangles for our sentiments. Now I can actually get these off, and we're done with the ScanNCut work. Doesn't mean you should leave, right? I mean, you can't leave, right? Because we're all home working, right? We're all home doing stuff. I mean, you're in, what do we call it? Social isolation, right? So we are going to be crafting, right? So you can't really leave because we got some stamping to do. So here's where we're at. We're going to put all the pieces on our mat. This is fun. I thought it'd be fun because I usually just show you like my ScanNCut part and then I show you the finished projects. I thought it'd be fun today to do a whole stamping project with you because this kit is, like I said, it's great for Brother ScanNCut users. It came with such cute stamps, cute materials. And there's so many coordinating products. So I just thought, why not make a whole project? So we'll use this layered ones later. Okay, first thing we're gonna do when you get your stamped images, I'm just making room on my table, is erase. So you're gonna erase the parts that you don't want. So let me find that eraser, which was just here. This is what I mean by making room. You have to make room constantly when you're crafting. All right. Can we do something else while we're waiting, right? Where is my eraser? There it is, there it is. Okay, so we want to take the pencil mark. We're going to take the pencil mark and get rid of the pencil marks. I'm going to turn my light back on so you can see that. Okay, so there, I got rid of the pencil marks. Pretty much got rid of them. So they were to help us cut it out as one. And it was help us fuse them together, but we don't need them there. So erase them with this Pentel eraser. All right, so that's step one. We're gonna use the layered ones, and right now we're just gonna use the ones that aren't layered. So we're gonna do some coloring. So we take our Stampin' Blends, light and dark. This is what I came up with. So I came up with Calypso Coral was one of the coordinating colors in the kit. So I take my dark Stampin' Blend. This is the dark one. There's a brush side and there's a thin side. So I'm going to take the thin side, and I just go around the edges of the boot. Okay, so I'm going around the edges. Because when you blend with alcohol markers, you want to just go around. The darker parts need to be on the outside. And then the lighter goes on the inside. So also one thing to keep in mind, now I'm going to use the lighter one and I'm going to use the thick side of the lighter one. So light Calypso Coral. Now on the inside you just sort of do circular motions like this. And what I'll do is I'll change the angle of the camera a little bit for when I do this other boot. That way you can really see how I'm coloring. A lot of times people say, how did you blend? How did you blend? So I just want to show you how I blended. I mean, it's so easy. And there's really no right or wrong way. So then you take, now I'm going to do the bottom part of the boot. I'm going to take, again, the dark. And I'm going to do this little section. Like that. And I even did this part in dark as well. I made the bottom, and I did that twice. So I'm going to leave the cap off. So I did this circular motion, light Calypso Coral, and then I did the inside shape here, all light. I didn't even do an outline around it. I just made it all light. Then I did this top part in dark. And this little circle in light. So there's these little circles, and I don't know what they are, like the boot plugs, the plugs for the boot. So maybe like that little semicircle was light, and then this little dot, see this little, I guess, tell me what these are. These plugs for your boots? Like, I've never really worn rain boots like this. How cool are these rain boots? Okay, and then I'm just doing dark on the top like that, and I'm doing dark on the bottom again. I'm just keep going over the bottom a little bit to make the bottom of the boot the darkest. All right, so I'm going to change my angle. And, you know, you can see this, me do this one more time. Calypso Coral. So it doesn't matter what order you do things in. We'll do the bottom part first because we're down here. So I did the bottom part all dark. And I colored in that section. Then I colored in this section in light. Circular motions. Then I colored this whole section in light. And then I colored the outer parts in dark. Okay, like that. And while I'm at it, you can make the little plug dark and the little top of the boot dark. Now I usually do these when I'm watching TV. I have a little bit closer, a little bit better lighting. All right, then I'm going to do the inside circular motions, lighter color, blending the two together. Okay, and I'm just using the brush side for this. But maybe when I get to that part, I should use the thin side, see? Like that part, just the thin side, because it's really small. And a little bit of light. Okay, so now I think I need to blend it a little bit more because it's a little harsh. So, harsh edges meaning. All right, good. So it'll dry a little bit lighter. And I might do the bottom one more time, and then I'll tell you about the color lifter. So the color lifter, if you have parts that are too dark, this color lifter makes it lighter. Put all my little blends back into my little storage area. The color lifter will either lift off the color or it helps you fix your mistakes. So what I do is I take my color lifter and I can fix that little mistake down there. And it takes a minute to dry because you can't really tell it worked, but it does work. Okay, it just kind of lifts the color. So then what I did to the boots is I took some So Saffron and I colored in the boots. I mean, it doesn't really matter if you take the big side of the So Saffron or the little side. I mean, we'll just use the big side and the little side. This is a light So Saffron marker. I'm coloring the label of the boots. All right, so that's it. That's how you color the boots for our card. So now we need to do some stamping for this project. So let's use this as a guide. Okay, this is our guide. And so we need, let's make some room. We're gonna put that there. All right, so we have a cloud. And yes, you can cut out the clouds. I know you're all wondering, oh, what about the clouds? Can we cut them out with our ScanNCut? Yes, you can cut them out with your ScanNCut. How cool are these clouds? So we'll do something with the clouds as well, but not right now. Right now we're stamping the cloud right onto the card because why not? It looked good like that. I tried it. So you take your Balmy Blue, and I'm just going to use that same stamping block I used earlier. So whichever block that was block D. And you're going to take Balmy Blue ink. And to open up our new inks, kind of tricky, right? If you're used to the old inks, but I say new like just a year old. But you just have to lift up the part with like that, and then you have to flip it. Okay, and then you want to push it in so it's sturdy. Okay, so that's our Balmy Blue ink. Let's not put it on the card itself. We'll put it right there. And we're going to get the cloud from the free stamp set. Oh no, that's not from the free stamp. Well, they're both. I mean, there's two stamp sets that came in the kit. There's the free one, and then there's one that would typically come with your paper pumpkin kit. Now, of course, they're both part of this kit. We're going to get the cloud from the smaller stamp set, and you can even make layered clouds, folks. This is so cool. You can make a little layer behind your cloud with the smaller cloud. But we're going to take the bigger cloud. Now you got to watch because like sometimes if there's something caught in it. So what I do is I'm going to do a test cloud on my mat. Because yesterday I had like a hair caught on my cloud and I ended up with a hair on my card. So I'm going to test it. So what I'm doing is I'm tapping. I take my cloud, and this is distinctive stamping, meaning that the shading is built into the stamp. Thank you, Stampin Up. I'm going to stamp a cloud on my mat. It looked good. But yesterday it was like a hair in front of my cloud, so I just wanted to make sure I didn't do that again. Okay, so we're going to now put a cloud right about there on the card. So we're stamping Balmy Blue onto Balmy Blue. So it's called tone on tone stamping. So I'm putting it about there. I'm just stamping directly Balmy Blue right onto the cloud. Okay, so I like how that came out. Now we need some raindrops. I'm going to keep our Balmy Blue out, but we want some raindrops, so we'll just use the little stamp block the bunny was on because the raindrops are very small. And that was stamping. Remember, you can use whatever stamping block you have, but I like to tell you what I'm using. B, that was stamping block B. So we get the little stamp set that came. And here's some little raindrops. This is photopolymer. And I always like to test that I have the raindrops the right way up. So I'm going to stick that on to the stamping block and I'm going to test it. Make sure my raindrops, yep, they are. They're going down. Right? So when they're going down, let me just get a piece of the Pleased as Punch. So you need the bigger part of your raindrop on the bottom. So that's why I was just making sure it was the right way. And again, I'm just making some rain. There's no right way to do this. I'm just using my paper pumpkin kit to make some rain. Here comes the rain again. Okay, so we're just putting some rain, and that way a little bit of rain will go behind the boots as well. Maybe, I don't know if I can fit some rain in there. I forgot to stamp that one. It doesn't matter. Okay, let's see. We're going to test it out. Yep. It looks good. We'll put our bunny there. Okay, we're going to color our bunny. We're going to do our stamping. So I think that's the bunny with the messed up face. So we'll get a different bunny. There's a good bunny. So for the bunny, I'm using Balmy Blue for this project. So you take your dark Balmy Blue, the thin side. And I'm just doing dark dark, dark all around the outsides of Mr. Bunny. I like this bunny because he's smaller than the bunny from my Welcome Easter Mini. I can just stick him anywhere now. And all my little spring cards. He's such a small, cute bunny that he can just get put everywhere. On everything. You'll be seeing my bunnies on everything. Okay, there you go. So that's what I did with the dark Balmy Blue. Thin side. Now I'm using the light Balmy Blue. Circular motion, circular motion. Okay. There we go. And now all of our paper, and I'm kind of not doing the middle, as you can see. I just sort of, I do the edges, but I'm sort of not doing the middle, leaving it a little bit lighter. And you can see how when it dries, it comes like a different color, right? It's a different color. All right, now let's do the sentiments. So we have our, putting that back. Mr. Bunny looks good. Now we need our sentiment. So for the sentiment, there's lots of great sentiments to use. I mean, especially in the times we're going through right now in our nation. And I really think, I mean, they did, Stampin' Up! Obviously did not plan this. This has been planned for months and months. But wishing you brighter days ahead, I thought really worked good with this project. Wishing you brighter days ahead. No matter the weather, we're in this together. That's another good one. But of course, then I'd have to change the size of my rectangle. Okay, to stamp this, we're going to use that same little Stampin' Block B. Now I'm starting to get ink everywhere, see? I'm just a really messy crafter. I know you're probably used to seeing people way more organized, but I do everything a whole different way than everybody else. I just am total mess, hot mess. All right, so there's my stamp. Now, I'm going to talk about this little heart, and we're going to make a heart in another color. So I do need to get one more ink from before. So I'm going to talk about the stamping block, not the heart. The stamping blocks, every paper pumpkin kit. And if you want to subscribe, you're not going to get this kit. You're going to get next month's kit, which is a family-oriented kit. But every paper pumpkin kit comes with a stamping block. This is a stamping block, okay? I tend to give these like out as prizes, or new team members are helping them start their color collection or something. I don't even open my stamping blocks. I like to use the ink I like to use other ink. Okay, so let me find some of my old inks. I didn't tell you needed this because you just need whatever you have. Basically to stamp your sentiment, you need whatever you have in your arsenal. And I was going to use a basic gray for that. And I had all my stuff here. All right, well, we'll do the heart. Here it is, basic gray. So I'm using some older style ink pads because that's just how I roll. I use whatever I have. So I'm going to use basic gray. So instead of the stamping spot, which you all have in your paper pumpkin kits, all my customers have, I'm using a larger stamping pad. So this is basic gray. So I'm flipping that open. And again, I always like to stamp on my mat first. So tap, 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 stamp. Up, see, it made me know that I'm upside down. It makes me know that I'm getting a good image and everything else. So I stamp on my mat first. Okay, now we're going to stamp these little guys. I just, while you're at it, just stamp them all. Plus, not only that, some of them are going to come out crooked and you're going to be flipping them over. So, wishing you brighter days ahead. I'm going to make a little bit of room for that heart. So, make sure it's up. I'm still keeping it kind of centered, but I'm making a little room for the heart on the left side, a little bit extra room. Actually, I'll put it up a little higher. If you put it up a little higher, the little heart fits right there. Okay, good. And I'm just, as you can see, not all of them come out as good as others, and they come out crooked. That's why I'm always just making extra sentiments. And of course, you can use your Stamparatus. There, that's a good one too. I'm going to use this one. My first one came out the best. Your Stamparatus tool is great for aligning all these little sentiments onto shapes. It's kind of like it's a stamp positioning tool. Let's not digress. Now we want to take a little heart, and we want to put the little heart in Calypso Coral. Why Calypso Coral? Because that's the color of our boots, and it's a coordinating color for this kit. Okay, so now you take your little heart from the stamp set. It's not the littlest heart, it's not the smallest heart, it's the medium-sized heart. They gave us 3 size hearts. And I like the Let Love Grow. That's going to be a nice stamp sentiment to use. So I take off this little sentiment, and I'm going to put the heart on here, and I'm going to mount the heart, but I also want to check that everything's working good before I check on my mat, check on my grid paper before I start using it on my extra sentiment. See? Perfect! Yay! Let's see, we're going to do them all. This is just how I roll, folks. I don't ever do just one stamp. I mean, really, I'd probably do 20 of these at once and make all kinds of projects. There you go. So that's why I'm doing them right now, like while I have my little heart out, because you don't want to keep on opening all your stamp colors and doing one card at a time. If you make one card at a time, you never get anything done. Like, every time you make a card, make more than one at a time, you know, because then you can get a lot more done. Okay. I mean, considering you have the supplies and everything. So here's Mr. Bunny. Here's a really good wishing you brighter days ahead. So we're going to stick that right there. I kind of put it right there above this cloud. And you always use dimensionals because it helps make it pop. So the kit came with dimensionals. I don't know if it even came with these big dimensionals. The kit definitely came with dimensionals. It came with like twine. It came with all kinds of stuff. So I hate to open a new pack of dimensionals because I can give these as little gifties, but you know what? I have to open them because I cannot stretch very far because I have a microphone on, so I can't reach for any other dimensionals. So that's what I'm doing. I'm putting these on top of this cloud like that, but not totally covering the cloud, just sort of covering the little wispy part of the cloud. And what I want to do is I want to show you when I did my layout, like I just made the same amount of space on the top and the left. So when you put it there, wherever you put it, it doesn't matter. You just want the same amount of blue space. This is Balmy Blue background. And you want the same amount of space between the top and the left. Now, I should have done this first. So whenever you have a card and it's flat like this, always take your card and use some kind of spatula. Like you can use a little spatula from your ScanNCut, or you can use, this is what I like to use, these little spatulas like this. Then you can just sort of flatten out your card. Okay, you can use a bone folder as well. So do that before you add all your embellishments. Yay! I'm liking how this card is coming together. And let's see if our boots have dried and come out to more of the color I want them, and I think they have. And we put our little bunny there. Now I'm not doing layering on this project. I'm going to show you what I did with the layers on the other. I didn't do layering on purpose because I wanted like a few colors and I wanted this to sort of, you know, have that sort of rainy, dreary look on it. So that's why I just did it the way I did it. So you can put your dimensional behind. And don't worry that the colors, when you use the Stampin' Blends, the colors go through the Whisper White because I'm using the thinner Whisper White, but it really doesn't matter. I'm going to also use some mini dimensionals. I'm not even sure what came in the kit because I've already totally taken out my kit, but I will unbox a kit. I'm not sure if they gave us small or large dimensionals. Everything's all over the place now in my kit. But when I do my Paper Pumpkin video where I show you how to make lots of projects with this kit, I will definitely unbox my second Paper Pumpkin kit, and you're going to know exactly what's inside one. Like you'll find out all the supplies that are inside the kit. And although my subscribers can probably just buy refills, that's all we're going to be able to buy. You can't buy the kits usually again. You might be able to buy the whole kit again, but I doubt it. Subscribers can buy refills, but everyone else has to wait for next month's kit, which is going to be great too. It's going to be note cards, and it's going to have a family theme. Okay, so I put 4 dimensionals on this so it's not wonky, meaning so that both sides of the boots get held up. And what I did is, as you can tell here, I wanted them even with each other. I wanted the ground to be showing, but I wanted the bunny to sort of be even with the boots. So that's my alternate project for the Paper Pumpkin kit, my first alternate project. And I'm going to show you my second alternate project I made. And this is just right as I got the kit and using the ScanNCut and nothing else. Okay? I mean nothing else except for the ScanNCut and the kit. This is what I made. And then second project I used one other thing. So for this project I used only the Paper Pumpkin supplies. That's it, Memento Black ink, and you saw my colors and my blends. But these little cards came in the kit. Now, but for this project I'm showing you, I did use some other materials. Okay, so this is what you can do with the techniques I just got done showing you. I have to look at my time. Ooh, my time is, I'm kind of longer than I like to be for a YouTube video, so I'm not going to show you how to color in these boots right now. But just know, the boots are colored in Granny Apple Green, light and dark blends, using the same technique I showed you for this Calypso Coral. Okay, and I guess I'll show you the whole project. So now You learned how to cut out stamped images. You learned how to color them with the blends. There's just a couple more techniques for this box here. So I did the layering with the Please This Punch Designer Series paper, popped up the boots on dimensionals both behind this layer and again behind here. So you have 2 layers of dimensionals. See how much depth that gives you on the top of the box. I used Please This Punch Designer Series paper all around the box. There's umbrellas in that. There's great papers. There's all these coordinating products. All right. What else did I do? I used this thing called let's see if I have it handy. It's a little finger sponge, and I finger sponged around this. I do have a little, never mind. I don't have it with me. But I used a little finger sponge, and I sponge colored around this little stitch shape that came in the paper pumpkin kit. And I used petal pink for that. I used basic gray for no matter the weather, we're in this together. I used the twine that came in the paper pumpkin kit. Okay, so this is a little gift box, and I used the mini pizza boxes, which are just incredible, by Stampin Up. And they come, by the way, flat. And I did do a video recently, so you have all the measurements on how to make these pizza boxes. Okay, so this is how they come. You get 8 in a container for only $6. They come, and they're food safe. So these are going to be great this Easter if you want to decorate little boxes in all different ways. Okay, so that's how I did this project using the ScanNCut. Now I open it up, and I did I Believe in You. That's another stamp from our sentiment from our set. More Designer Series paper. And to cheer someone up, you give them a happy hippo. My sister gave me these. They are from Germany. They're like the best little piece of heaven ever. They have hazelnut goodness in the inside of them. So I'll be sending like that to somebody just for fun, and not even to cheer them up. I mean, like, just this isn't just like for bad times. I mean, this is just the times we're all going through. No matter the weather, we're in this together. This is what the world is going through right now. So like, I think I can send this to anybody right now. You don't have to be sick to maybe be able to feeling down, a little bit down. And I hope crafts like help lift someone up. And these are some Ghirardelli eggs and some little mini Tic Tacs. Okay, so that's what the inside of the box looks like. And using the Please This Punch Designer Series paper. All right, well, thank you for watching. I hope you will follow along and try this paper pumpkin alternative project yourself. And we'll see you soon in the next tutorial. Bye. That's all for now. This is the Paper Chef.